Like most people lately, I've been really enjoying playing Marvel Rivals. I mean, look at my uploads. You don't just do that for something you hate. So because of that enjoyment, I've decided to make little plush dolls of the characters in the game. So in this video, I'm going to be going over one character from each class in the game. So I wanted to make Moon Knight because I love him. Oh, whoa! But I also realized that I had already made a Jeff and a Spider-Man. So I thought, hey, strategist, duelist, I need a Vanguard. So I started thinking about who I'd want to make. Obviously the first thing I do is load up the game and check the Vanguards. We got Hulk, Cap, Strange, Emma, Groot, Magneto, Penny, The Thing, Thor, and Venom. Obviously, I'm not touching The Thing. I just made the Fantastic Four. I kind of want to do Thor because he's cool. Maybe I should do Emma because she's new. So I settled for Venom for non-biased reasons.
Yeah. Give me that team up.
The following 4 team-ups are being completely removed. Symbol bond.
So for Venom, he's super straightforward. If you see my video back in October for how to make him, then you know what I mean. I start out with an all-black body. This one's a bit different because he's got these insanely huge proportions. All Rivals characters do. I cut out the piece for the body, which I don't typically record, then, with it all cut out, I sew it together. I really enjoy doing these insane build characters because it really allows me to do something different and weird. Luckily, Marvel Rivals has a lot of that with all its unrealistic and insanely weirdly proportioned characters. Here's the finished body. I think I may tweak the traps, but I need to see how it looks with the head first. Now for Venom's head. I'm just gonna wing it. If you see my other Venom video, you'd know how I generally go about this. I start with the jaw, so I can build the top of the head around that. It's also pretty big and wide. With the base of the jaw done, I can do the top of his head. It's just half of a normal head. Then I attach the pieces together. With them together, I cut out the inside of the mouth. Then I sew the pieces together and put it in. With the base of the head done, I can finally stuff it. I had to be methodical with how I do this because just randomly stuffing it would look weird. Then I cut out a black strip and put that on to close the head. Now I can detail the thing. I start with the eyes because I figured that's easier than the mouth. Cutting out the eyes only took 2 attempts until I was confident with them, which is fine because now I like them. Then I can move to the teeth. I cut out the top row into 3 pieces because I felt like that just looked more accurate than one piece. Then I take a Sharpie to the inside of the mouth and draw in the details. Now, unlike my previous Venom, I give this perv a tongue. What it'll do with it? I don't know. With the head done, I can attach the body. But why make things so easy? I give Venom some pecs first. This is so I can build the traps off of that. One of the things I kinda lose in translation is this aspect. The Venom model has these enormous traps, but the problem is that the base model, in the game looks a lot different because his neck is brutally crunched over. With the traps actually on the body, I can confidently say that I've messed up. I think this could very easily have been avoided if I had just attached the traps all the way to the shoulders. But it's fine. Maybe I can fix this. I just need to add the muscles on the rest of the body. As you can see on the in-game Venom, he's super muscular. So I need to replicate this because without it, I'm left with a boring black body. Comics have been doing this for years. Your costume and concept doesn't really have a lot going on. That's fine, just add muscle definition. That can be a majority of the detail. Superhero movies do it too, just a bit different, with the muscle padding and the lines all over. They also have the advantage of fabric textures. But back to Venom. For the muscles, I'm going to add his abs, back muscles, calves, shoulders, forearms, and yes, the butt cheeks. This overall took me maybe a day of on and off work. Very time consuming. I don't like to do anything other than pecs very often. Now with it basically done, there's one thing left. Firstly, I paint the front on by hand. Painting is always the most stressful part of all of these characters because it provides the opportunity for the most failure or just blatant mistakes. Luckily, I think I do fine here. I have to wait for it to dry a bit, then I can do the back logo. Back logo is the same story. Now, obviously dried, these don't look good, which is why I'm going to use a second coat of paint to make it more vibrant. I actually had to go out and buy a second bottle of white paint to do this part. With the painted part complete, Venom is finished. So, as everyone says, he's got aura. He's aura farming. He looks super cool. I love his costume. Okay, well, I say all those things. That's me. And you know, obviously I want to capture that with what I'm doing, so I think I'd capture that for the face. Okay, well, to be fair, there's no official reference for me to go off of. Here's my Spider-Man face, a face I actually had reference to base it off of. And here's my Moon Knight. Anyway, that aside, I think we'll just have to ignore that. And the best way to do that is the base of the suit. First, I give the body some tits, as to bulk out the armor a bit when I make that. Because the costume is so detailed, I can actually just do the base layer in one solid color for the whole body. Almost. The boots are white. With the base done, I gotta say, I definitely didn't make the biceps big enough. To be fair, it's really hard to cut out muscles. It's not really hard, I'm just really bad. And this material sucks. It's in these white boots that I had the armor detailing seen in the shoe area. It's very simple, only really being 3 pieces. The top of the foot armor and the piece that wraps around the foot. Then obviously the sole, which is dark gray, matching the suit's base. Then I go up to the shin. It's also just 3 pieces. These ones being a little more layered than the last. There's a little strip of white sewn onto the back. I was just not going to include this, but I wanted to change the characters in the back from my Superman video. Plus, I just made this Wolverine and I wanted him there. With the shin armor sewn, I'll get these bands that'll serve as the base for the knee pads going onto the thighs. Then I add the knee pads. In the game, they're 2 pieces, but here I don't care. I sew the knee pads on. Then, with the boots and the knee pads finished, I decide to finish off for the night by painting and drawing on the details. Because it's nearly 4 AM and I need to be up by 9. After drying, I work my way up to the thighs. They're actually super easy. Or you would think. But in actuality, they're annoyingly layered. Everything in the body is pretty layered. A lot of the detail on this guy, however, is carried pretty hard by the paint and the marker work. I went a lot harder on the markers specifically, as I anticipate I will for all my Rivals characters. I actually did the same thing, if anyone remembers, all the way back, like last year, when I made my Sifu guy. I went heavy on the markers with him. Worked on him too, in my opinion. Now, I kind of blasted through the arms here, but all that means is that we get to the chest faster! I do make the belt first, but I don't sew it on. The reason for that is I just want to have it for reference right now, so I know where to put the rest of the pieces on the body. For the chest plate, while I make it look simple and easy, this is probably an hour and a half's worth of work for just this piece alone. Then he's got these little pieces that I guess cover his ribs. Then I make the back armor piece. It's actually pretty simple. I actually had to find a 3D printable model for the cosplay armor. That it shows a 360 degree view of the body. Then guess from there what colors it was based off of what I was able to see in the game under the cape. Now for the waist. I start by sewing this brown patch on the front. Then I can add these gray pieces to the sides. I put the white armor pieces over it. Then I can add the drawn on detail and attach the belt. It's not finished, however. There's still pouches that need to be made. These kind of puff out, so I add stuffing inside to make them more 3D. Luckily, there's only 2 pouches, so this isn't that big a deal. I swear, if they add Deadpool to the game, and he's just covered in these giant Rob Liefeld signature pouches, I'm talking more pouches than any one man would ever need. If that's the case, then he's gonna take me forever to get done. I decided that now is no better time than any to paint him. I just paint some of the white lines on the front that I've been missing. It looks fine now, but when it dries, it'll kind of fade and look bad. Well, not that bad, but eh. Moving up to the mask, I add eyes. Then I add the mouth guard, and then these gray pieces on the side of the face. That's pretty much it. Well, it's not, but it's all I can see right now. For the cape, it's just a crescent moon sewn on, then the rest of the detail is drawn on. I actually mistakenly recorded this as a 16-minute video as opposed to a time-lapse. So I had to go back and put it at 8 times speed. Considering it's free-handed, I'm surprised that the cape turned out as well as it did. Since I just used markers, I can sew the cape to the back of Moon Knight right away. Then I can begin the hood. This part is one of the most important parts. Getting the hood right is one of the key details in his design that I need to get right. Originally I was going to make the whole hood out of felt, but then I realized that the top piece I had was good, and I figured that I could do the rest out of cloth. It should also make it form around the head better. It in fact did not, and I'm actually kind of disappointed by it, but not disappointed enough to change it, just disappointed enough to get used to it. I give Moon Knight a final little scarf piece that he has around his neck out of cloth. With that, he's finished. This was 2 weeks worth of work, by the way. I failed to mention this, but I did put glow-in-the-dark paint on his eyes. I think it's a really nice touch. While I'd like to say I'm more proud of this, I just wish I did better. But I'm satisfied enough to move on to... Now, it would be easy for me to just put the Jeff video I already made in here, but I won't. Instead, I'll do... I mean, come on, this is a no-brainer. He's the newest strategist in the game, so of course I'm gonna make him. With the base of the body done, I realized that it would have been a better color for the actual armor of the body. I'm just gonna commit to it though, and paint the pieces black later. For now, I've got to do the head. I decided that I'll detail the head entirely before I sew it to the body. Something very frustrating is a lot of the details blend together so much you can't even see them, especially on camera. Something I think is pretty quick to be noticed on this guy is just how line heavy he is. Like, it's kind of absurd. It's also just kind of annoying because I have to draw all of that on with a Sharpie, which also won't appear very well on camera or to the eye. Like, the gray is way too dark to even see most of the detail I'm putting on this guy, which makes it feel a little fruitless, but also if I didn't add all this detail, it just wouldn't look good. That's one of my peeves though about like a lot of things I make. Some characters are so detailed and so much of that gets lost because it's just the color black or gray or just something you're not going to see very well. I think with the head finished, it actually looks good. Not to glaze too hard, but it gives me some confidence going forward. You know, when it comes to other strategists in the game, I didn't want to make Invisible Woman because I'd rather do her with the Fantastic Four. And I didn't want to do Mantis because I wanted to do her on the Guardians. Same goes for Rocket, Atom. He's also considered a Guardian, which I think is weird. I guess Loki would have been neat. I would make Cloak and Dagger, but I don't feel like doing 2 more characters right now. And lastly, Luna. I had nothing against her. To be honest, if Ultron wasn't in the game, I'd probably be making her. If I'm being even more honest, I haven't really played Ultron. Like, I played him to make the video, but after that, I didn't really care. I like Ultron as a character. I think he's cool. I like his design in the game. To be fair, it's pretty hard to mess up an Ultron design. He's a robot. As long as he's silver, it's cool. And even then, he doesn't have to be. Sometimes he's gold, black, or blue. Or multiple colors. I did make a custom Ultron a few years back. Mine has a cape though. Don't know why. Just thought it was neat. On the topic of a caped Ultron, I was praying that they'd add the Infinity Ultron skin. Maybe they will in the future, but I really hope they do. I love his look in the show so much, I even bought the Funko Pop. I know. If initially the plush dolls wasn't doing it, then I have definitely sworn off sex by now. Speaking of Ultron skins, I hope they don't plan on adding the MCU one anytime soon. Like, I don't know, maybe they'll add it when he's in Vision Quest. If that ever gets made, it comes out. But as of right now, don't do it. The design isn't really visually interesting enough, in my opinion, to separate it enough from the one in the base game for there to be a reason to add it at all. I'd love to see a classic skin though. I'd love to see everyone get a classic skin, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Hopefully I'm wrong. I really stand behind the idea though that the classic skins should be Lord rewards. Or if they add beyond Lord rewards, that should be it. I mainly just want a classic Spider-Man suit. I guess I could always wait for Brand New Day to come out. That's about as close as I think I'll get. As for Ultron, I hope they add Ant-Man at some point. I really don't want people to get misconstrued and think Tony Stark built Ultron. I mean, for all I know in the lore of Rivals, maybe he did. I know in the MCU they only did it because there wasn't an Ant-Man yet. But that was only a couple month difference. If they had Ant-Man at some point, I'd hope it's Hank Pym. Hell, give me Hank and Janet. I think they should play like Cloak and Dagger in some sense if they were to be added. I think that'd be really neat. Like maybe Hank gets really big, and then the Wasp is tiny, and he can like send her out to do stuff. I don't know. Ant-Man would just be a really interesting character to have on the battlefield, because like how would that play, right? Finishing up the arms, I use a red Sharpie to try and give the same lighting effect the game has. Then I can build his back. I start out with the spine, which is 3 pieces. Once sewn, I flip them over and attach this neck piece that I made. Then I add the rest of the spine, which is only 2 more pieces. Going lower to the bottom of the torso, I add the butt cheeks, because not even robots are safe in this game. Then I make this piece that connects to the butt cheek and goes up the body. Then over that, I attach this piece where the shoulder blades would be if he was a person. With the back done, I sew these orange pieces to the chest. I had to use black thread though because I don't have any more orange thread. I sew this piece onto the chest. I like how I just keep calling these things this piece or the back piece, like I just don't know what to call anything. I'm sure some things have names, I just don't know them. I'm nearly finished the chest with these pieces under the pecs. Then I can finally add the final sewn detail of the pecs. Now, I just add the painted details. I think for the lighting effects that I've painted, they actually look pretty good. Like, I'm glad I went with smearing yellow and red just in there. I think it turned out really well. I mean, if you look at it kind of closely, the cracks start to show. So don't do that. But other than that, it's pretty good. Here he is, in all his finished glory, Ultron. You know, at the end of the day, if this is meant to be any foreshadowing for my Iron Man that I would like to eventually make, at least he won't be all the same dark color. You know, it only occurred to me after making and editing this whole thing that, why didn't I just make Emma? I even mentioned her in the Venom section. She's new, popular, and a tank. Why didn't I just do her? Why did I make Venom? I even like her design and want to make her. I had more than enough time. Well, it's too late to regret my actions now. All I can do is make her for a different video or just on my own time. I don't owe you anything. On a different note, I think this is one of the very rare occasions where I'll take suggestions. So, tell me who your main is and I'll make a video making them. Anyways, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I didn't really try to make this one in a way that can be followed along due to how long that would take. But I still hope it's cool to watch me make these guys. Like I said, tell me who you want me to do and I'll probably do it. But as for this video, I've done my job. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to be posting these guys on my Instagram. I'll probably make more Rivals character videos in the future, so who knows. Goodbye.